Episode 596. The major guilds kept watching, waiting, and watching some more. None of them expected that after days of this, their waiting would yield such a result. Lord Grimm's reputation alone had already made the major guilds hesitant to act rashly. Now that he'd joined forces with the somewhat famous Heavenly Swords, making a move against him had become even more troublesome. The news that surfaced on the forums didn't just catch players' eyes. It sparked heated discussion and made things increasingly tricky for the major club guilds. Every major esports platform simultaneously posted the same news. Jean Lulan, guild leader of the Heavenly Swords Guild, would be forming a team to compete in the upcoming Pro League season. If forum posts could sometimes be gossip, true or false, then news officially announced on a website platform was almost always spot on. The news was quickly reposted across every major forum board, spreading to every corner of Glory's player community. Zan Lulan was already a well-known player in Glory. His name alone drew plenty of attention. And with the news that he was forming a new team, it naturally drew widespread attention. More importantly, when combined with the news that Lord Grimm had joined the guild Heavenly Swords, it all clicked for the players. This isn't joining some guild at all. He's clearly joining the team Zan Lulan is about to form. No wonder a high-profile player like Lord Grimm hadn't been snatched up by any of the big clubs. Zan Lulan got the jump on them and locked him down first. Everyone knew that Jean Lulan was a top-tier whale. But just how deep Zan Lulan's pockets really ran, that was something few people knew. Of the two announcements that surfaced, neither revealed much. Only that Jean Lulan intended to form a team for next season's Pro League, and that Lord Grimm had already joined his guild, Heavenly Swords. As for the club guilds, once this news broke, the problem was no longer something the guild leaders could handle alone. It had been kicked upstairs, straight to the clubs themselves. When it came to a newly formed team, the guild leaders could no longer call the shots or make the decisions on their own. In the current Pro League, the two teams at the bottom of the regular season standings get eliminated each season, and two new teams join the league to fill the vacancies the following season. Glory's competitive scene was still young, and they hadn't yet built a full secondary league with a promotion and relegation system, so they had to fall back on this rather brutal elimination mechanism. How do they decide which two teams? The league has its own selection and review process. The major clubs were, of course, well aware of these rules and regulations. At this stage of the season, the selection process for next season's new team replacements should already be mostly wrapped up. Announcing it now, that's probably reliable. Besides, every major club had their own connections and channels. A bit of discreet inquiry, and they all confirmed the source was reliable. None of the major clubs dared to take the new team lightly. In today's league, a new team doesn't necessarily mean a weak one, especially with a deep-pocketed backer. A flood of cash can build a powerhouse roster overnight, throw the transfer market into chaos, and turn the entire league's balance upside down. This Jean Lulan, who formed the team, was a notorious money player in Glory, and no one knew the true extent of his wealth, a fact that made every major club uneasy. And this Jean Lulan had actually managed to recruit Lord Grimm. Who was Lord Grimm? The players had no idea, but every major club knew full well that was none other than the great Yi Qiu. If he hadn't been retired, they'd have been fighting tooth and nail over him. By securing Yi Qiu, Zan Lulan had pulled off a real coup. The man might not be able to step onto the field next season, but for a player hailed as a living textbook, whipping a team into shape was more than enough. Once this news was confirmed, the major clubs began calling emergency meetings. Yi Qiu going solo got their attention, but it didn't really scare them. Yet this guy had somehow found himself a backer of such mysterious strength, instantly unsettling everyone. Some were even starting to suspect that Yi Qiu's sudden retirement from Excellent Era might have been part of some prearranged deal with Jean Lulan. Forming a team like this, getting approval, that wasn't something that could happen in a single day. Meeting the review requirements, preparing all that paperwork, none of it was short-term work. Planning a year or two ahead wouldn't even be surprising. And when exactly did Yi Qiu get in touch with this bunch? And joining Heavenly Swords was enough to make Ye Chu abandon Excellent Era, a team he'd built up over 7 years, even resorting to retiring as a way to cripple his own career just to escape. Was this team Zhan Lulan was building really that attractive? Many clubs let their imaginations run wild, turning the whole affair into a conspiracy theory. Only Excellent Era, who knew the full story behind Ye Chu's retirement, could keep a clear head and not let their imagination run wild. But if Ye Chu were to rise again by relying on a force like this, that wasn't something they wanted to see either. Over at Excellent Era, Lu Hao, Chen Yehui, and the others had put in considerable effort to dig up information that the other clubs were still in the dark about. By now, Ye Chu had already gathered a group of experts around him, likely the very players Zhan Lulan was planning to form a team with. So the club turned to Chen Yehui's guild and demanded detailed intel on Zhan Lulan's guild. Everyone began analyzing who among Zhan Lulan's ranks might be those hidden experts. The Witch, Striker, Assassin, and Launcher. Every player of those 4 classes in Heavenly Swords had been thoroughly marked. Excellent Era was convinced that a top-tier player was hidden among them, and they were already considering using alt accounts to start probing. The problem was, Heavenly Swords also had a guild with over 10,000 members. Even taking the theoretical average, that meant 400 players per class, 1,600 people across just these 4 classes. If we tried to test all of them, the workload would be massive, and it'd draw a lot of attention. The moment Zhan Lulan announced they were forming a team, the Heavenly Domain Guild came under attack. That was bound to draw attention. No club wants to grab the public's attention this way. They need to think of something, stir up some conflict. Excellent Era scrambled for a counter-strategy as Ye Chu set up shop elsewhere, and the other clubs grew anxious too. Over at Happy Internet Cafe, Ye Chu and Chen Guo were watching the same news, following the players' gossip and discussions.
These guys, their team building is pretty naive, but they sure know how to hype things up.
How so?
See, they deliberately split the announcement into 2 parts. First, they put out the news that I joined the Heavenly Swords Guild on the forums. Then, they released the news about forming their team through the platform. Actually, from start to finish, did they ever say I'd be joining their team? No. That would leave them open to accusations. If they claimed I was joining their team, that would be outright deception.
But that's still deliberately misleading.
Of course.
So many schemes.
How else are you supposed to get by without a few tricks up your sleeve?
Funny how you didn't see any scheming when we were forming the team.
Kids, they're naive. But wanting to make a splash right out of the gate, you can't call that scheming, can you?
Were they really that weak, or did you deliberately provoke them?
Am I really that unscrupulous?
Ye Chu was speechless. Chen Guo thought for a moment, then spoke.
By being decent, do you mean they genuinely lack the strength, or are you just pushing them to improve?
Of course it's because they really aren't strong enough.
Compared to me?
You?
Ye Chu's eyes had already given the answer.
Chen Guo ground out through clenched teeth.
You're so generous.